when I was watching the film, one of the things that really grabbed me was just how original it felt. I'm so pleased this film is out there. It feels like a very intelligent film for sort of adult audiences that it's just feels like a real sort of harking back to sort of classic sort of Hollywood. And I was just wondering about the challenges in getting a film like this off the ground, despite having the pedigree that you have in the industry, a film that's not a sequel or a prequel or any related to any big franchise, and just how difficult it is getting people to back a movie like this.
Very, very difficult. Yeah, it's the thing is that I think there are many people who love films, who work in the film business and make films and finance films. They actually do want to be able to make these kinds of films. I think what Martin Scorsese highlighted in this thing he wrote in the Times recently is very true, which is it's become less than you would think. It's less than you would think about people not wanting them. It's I think the structural challenges of the way that big film releases churn through the cineplexes now, that it's harder to get the room and time for a film like this to stay in and have people tell each other that they really loved it and have it run a while. That is part of the big challenge. But you just have to push and push, and we did get this done. The cast, which is tremendous, Bruce Willis and Alec Baldwin and Willem Dafoe and Gugu and Mbatha-Raw, and everybody practically helped finance the film by doing it essentially for scale. Everybody rallied around my idea for this and the script, and I couldn't have got it done if the cast had not been so generous with their participation.
Yeah, I was going to ask a question about them, but you sort of answered it, so I'm just going to move on to the next one, which is about Thom Yorke, because I mean that's another great collaborator here. I wonder about how that sort of came about and sort of approaching him to do this song for this.
Well, I've known Thom a long time. I'm a massive fan of his solo work as well as the band, obviously, and it wasn't random. I had a pretty specific thought. My character in the film has Tourette syndrome and obsessive compulsive disorder, and his brain is a very chaotic and dissonant space, right? And even though the film's in the 50s and has kind of an overall jazz musical language and landscape to it, in the sound design and in the way we were cutting the film, we were creating this landscape of the way his mind works and the lonely, sad quality of it, but also the very dissonant quality. And we if there's anybody who I think understands that kind of thing of the feelings in the heart, but also kind of the fracture, it's Thom, And I asked him if he would write this a ballad that sort of is almost like this character's lonely voice in a way, and he wrote this beautiful song called "Daily Battles." That's the theme in the song in the film, and it's extraordinarily beautiful.
And it really did strike me actually about sort of 3/4 of the way through that the film had this frenetic, haphazard quality of jazz music. Was that a big inspiration for you? Because if the film at some points it felt like it was a piece of music in times.
I'm very happy to hear you say that. Yes, I think that the feeling when films are really working, they are not intellectual experiences really. They're sensual experiences. You're literally looking at images of light and coming into you, and you're enveloped by sound and voice and character and clothes. And if everything's really working, it works a kind of hypnosis on you, which is what music does too, I think. And if you have a good rhythm going, people will drift in a thing very happily. And I think, like with a song, there's a pacing, and I think when other elements are holding you of story and character, empathy for a character, I think one of the things that's great about Jonathan Letham's character he created in the novel is that you feel for him. His condition is very unusual, but in a weird way you can see yourself in him. Everybody sometimes feels lonely or isolated, but also everybody has arguments with themselves in their own head, and the idea that his goes on to the outside is funny. You can't help but laugh because not just because it's funny or he's funny, but because you can think to yourself, ooh, if what I think on the inside came out, it would be really bad. And it's that the same way you laugh when someone else trips in a way. So I think when you get those things working, people can hang with it. But I think jazz has both a lyrical quality, but also, as you say, it can be very dangerous and mysterious as well. You know, it's got all of that in it.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,